Hi everybody, this is Tom, and I'm going to go over what's been going on with the barn lift. So first time I've done this, so the process has been pretty organic. It hasn't been perfect. I've made dents and bends, and on Thursday last week I had the whole barn fall over 6 inches and come towards me 2 or 3 inches. So if you're contemplating raising up the foundation of a structure, anything like this, here's some tips. I'm working in North Texas, and the best tool for digging in the dirt to make the kinds of holes that you need to do for jacking up a structure is this right here. It's like a small pickaxe. People suggest using a pickaxe, but when you go down into the ground, it's too big to swing down into those holes down there. So let's go take a look at the where the lift is now. This is the north side of the structure, and I have 2 jack points, and the key things to look at here are you need a very good lift beam. I put the beam on top of the beam. I put wider wood than the beam is because it's a 4x4, but to grab more of the lateral foundation struts, I put a wider piece on top of the 4x4. And here's the critical thing: you have got to make strong jack bases from the get-go, because otherwise you're wasting your time. I try to lift the barn on these little things at first. Well, not at first, but this is the second year I'm doing this. But at a different point in time, I tried to lift it on one of those, like 2 of those little things, and that's where you're going to run into trouble. So keep it really secure. Go very, very slow. Don't expect to just lift up a side 6 inches at a time. You've got to continuously move around the structure. This is a 16 by 32 barn. It's composed of 2 16 by 16 boxes. So you can see that gap right there in the middle, which I may be able to get rid of once I have the final part of the lift done. If I lift the ends while it's supported by these black lines right here, there's going to be steel I-beams under the black lines. So I have this hunch that if I have it supported there and there, once I jack up this side and that side at the same time, it might make that close up. The reason that opened up was before I got here, this whole side of the barn had sunk, and particularly this side had sunk into the mud, and so it was pulling away from the rest of the structure. And this is a tough shed. It's probably about the biggest a tough shed comes, biggest size a tough shed comes, 2-story, 16 by 32. So this here's the south end of it, and this is where I had the big problem earlier, because now it's a nice sturdy jack stand. I always had a good top and beam, lift beam and everything, but I didn't have this stuff anyway. So when I was jacking this one up, it just turned. The whole barn went 6 inches that way and came towards me about 2 inches, and I about gave up the whole project. It was pretty disheartening, but if that happens, and it's something that, you got to enjoy doing this. You got to find it fun, otherwise it's a real chore. So the two things in North Texas, use the small pickaxe for digging. I tried using a power auger here in this dirt, and it was no good. If you see this dirt, it's just like rock. It's very hard. When it's wet, it's very sticky mud, which is awesome because you can make flat surfaces out of that mud. Like, just pour some water underneath these and it'll help make a gel and help you make it flat. Use your level a lot. Always check that your jack stand is level, so your jack isn't starting to move in any of the 4 directions that it could, and then it'll roll out. That's about all I have to offer. But except that I'll tell you what the ultimate goal is, and I think I'm one day away from the goal, which is only halfway through the whole barn build. But there again we have the black lines, and those are the other side of where the steel I-beams are going to come out of. And here I have the I-beams already moved into the property. They're 20 pound per foot, 20-foot long I-beams. The guys over at Vitz Metals cut a 40-foot I-beam in half for me, and that makes each one of these 20 feet long, 20 pounds per foot, 400 pounds. They're going to get attached by a cable through this hole that they melted in to each end for me, and pulled by the truck underneath the barn and in those 2 points. So once I need to get this thing up another one, maybe two of these large blocks, 2 more higher, and they'll slide right under. So once they're slid under, they become the jack points. And you might imagine what this is all leading up to is there'll be a flatbed truck. They'll pull in over this way, and the sun is shining right into it. The flatbed truck will pull underneath here, get under the barn, get under the 2 steel I-beams. All this other supports will all be gone at that point. They'll all go away. And of course, the 20 feet wide is wider than the 16, so it'll come out on the edges a little bit, and you can drive right under it, back that flatbed truck right under it, and then lower the barn onto the flatbed truck and take it somewhere else, like maybe over there. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you are trying to do a barn lift, feel free to ask me any questions in the comments section, and good luck. Have a lot of fun with all your DIY projects. See you later.